What's up? This is BG Knocc Out, and you watching B Shine. Basically, when I was young, man, I used to sit in front of the TV and watch Yo MTV Raps as a kid, man, when the music was real diverse back then. You had the East, the West. Then you had the South. You had, like Ghetto Boys and stuff like that. But basically, when I was young, and I heard somebody come out particularly from my city, I think it was 1986, and his name was Eazy-e. And he had the song called Boys in the Hood. You know what I'm saying? So ever since then, I was inspired to rap. I think I was like 11 years old then. I think I was just attracted to the culture as a youngster because back then, hip-hop was more diverse, and then it had more of a message to it. And I just kind of identified with the message, you know what I'm saying? Being young, black, and from the ghetto, raised up in Compton and Watts, you know what I mean? So I kind of just identified with the culture, and it just made sense to me. So I was gravitated towards it like that. The first things that I used to do, before it was just a hobby. Like when I was young, I just started imitating people's lyrics that I heard. And then it went from that to actually taking people's instrumentals off their cassette tapes. And my mom had got this karaoke machine, so I used to go in the bathroom and just record my own lyrics to other people's stuff. And from there, it went to the little freestyle places that they had throughout LA, you know what I mean? So I just went on certain nights and tried to showcase my talent. I got in clubs and I was still too young to even be there, but I was sneaking in, through different little ways. And it went from that to just calling people's managers on the back of their cassette tapes that had their managers' numbers. And I would call and rap over the answering machine. I did all kind of stuff, man. So, yeah. Around 1992, man, these guys, I guess, are named me and my brother. My brother was known. He was in California Youth Authority. He was known throughout the system for being one of the, the hardest writers and rappers inside the system. And so his name was ringing bells in there. And my name was ringing bells kind of out here in the local area down in LA. And it's crazy because one day these two guys that we actually knew since we was little kids put up on our block. And they were like, we heard you guys be rapping. We was like, yeah, we do our thing or whatever. And they was like, well, spit something for us. And me and my brother, spit a verse apiece. And they was like, stay here tomorrow. We going to the studio. You know what I'm saying? And we was like, yeah, okay. I didn't really take them too serious, you know what I mean? But when they came back, they actually were serious. My brother was still there. They took my brother to the studio, and it happened to be with Eazy. And when my brother came back, he had about 4 songs recorded. He had a bunch of songs he was writing to. And he was telling me I was in the studio with Eazy or whatever. And I was like, yeah? I was like, next time they come back, I'm going to be here. So when they came back, I ended up going to the studio with them. And they were working on Real Compton City G's. And actually, I wasn't even supposed to be a part of that song. The funny thing about it, I just happened to be there while they was recording it. So while they had the song playing on the reel-to-reel, when they was trying to lay it down in the studio, the part that I actually rapped on was a piece of the beat that they didn't understand, what happened. Because from going from reel-to-reel to tape, the beat was one way. And then on the reel-to-reel, in the studio, it was different. So it was like this long stretch of beat still in there. And it was like, how did this get there? And they was like, well, what are we going to do with this part of the beat? Because everything else was laid out. And so everybody turned around and looked at me and was like, go see if you can do something. So I went in there, man. I spit every rap that I known to, that I had in my head. And it was like, keep going. Eazy was like, do something else, do something else. And, back then, I was kind of young. I was, still in high school. I was wild. I was smoking a lot of marijuana or whatever. So I told him, give me some weed, man. So I went in the studio. I went in that booth. And I just that verse just came out of me. I just freestyled it off the top of my head, and they were recording it. And so they was like, that's it, that's it. They told me to come out the booth, write it down, change some words here and there, And then the rest is history, man. Real Compton City G's, man, 20-something years later. So my family was supportive, man. They seen it as a way out for us because, we lived in a gang-infested, environment or whatever. And, young, living in that environment, even though your mother, I come from a single-parent home. My mom did everything she could to try to keep us from out of the streets. But when you come out the door, it's right there in front of you, you know what I mean? So my mom kind of seen it as an avenue for us to, leave that lifestyle, you know what I mean? So they definitely supported me. Working with Flesh and Bone, man, back in those days, going on tour with him, on a whole separate thing from what I was doing, I really appreciated that, man. And and meeting all the artists that I looked up to, you know what I'm saying? Like KRS-One, you know what I'm saying? Naughty by Nature, Das Effects, you know, people on the East Coast that I thought I would never see in my life, you know what I'm saying? And then seeing those people and they giving me props for the song that we did with Eazy, like, you know, that was like amazing to me, you know what I mean? Traveling is definitely one, getting out of the neighborhood because people don't know that, you know, the LA culture, a lot of people are closed-minded and it's unfortunate because we don't think that we can do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us don't dream past the street that we grew up on. And, you know, and getting out there and seeing all these different people in these different states and just getting to meet people and actually inspiring other people to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody coming up to me and say, man, like your song got me through this. You know, listening to your music, you know, like these one guys, I don't know, what was they called? Good Charlotte. A good friend of mine told me that back in high school, they used to get bullied. You know what I'm saying? And they said that they used to go and rock out the real Compton CDGs and that would kind of like get them over, you know, the little problems that they were having in school. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, when he told me that, I was like, man, that's an amazing feeling for me. You know what I'm saying? And then I also had negative things. I heard people say that they used to actually go and do dirt listening to my music. You know, stuff like that. I really couldn't, you know, I was like, it kind of made me think, but I just want, you know, the public to know that music is music, man. You should never try to live what you hear through music. You know what I'm saying? Because those are personal experiences and it's not to be imitated. It's for entertainment purposes only. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I go watch a movie, I'm not going to go out, you know, and try to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know what I'm saying, tear up the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's really for me, you know, just inspiring people, man, like little kids, you know, who's coming up and trying to learn the culture and, you know, make music. You know what I mean? I just want people to know me for who I am, you know what I'm saying, through my music. Like, I'm not trying to imitate nobody. I'm not trying to be nobody else. I mean, of course, I was influenced by a lot of different music, but basically, I just want people to know that I am who I am and my music will speak for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be something I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the legacy I want to leave is that, you know, I gave y'all good music and it came straight from my heart. You know what I mean? And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, whoever follows my footsteps, man, you know what I'm saying, you do the same thing. Just be yourself. The best thing you can do is be you, and people that respect that. You know what I mean? Everybody don't got to be gangsters. Everybody don't got to be this or that or the other. Just be yourself, man, and you'll get a lot more respect. You know what I mean?